Art Focus is a program about the brightest and the most current developments in the fields of art and cultural life in the country and in the world. It is a report about the greatest cultural events like musical concerts, festivals, art exhibitions and theater premieres. You will be able to visit the most interesting theater sets as well as workshops of famous artists, and you will also get acquainted with the best art representatives and learn the secrets of their crafts together with the Art Focus program. Art Focus is always in the focus of the brightest events. Within the framework of Expo 2017, Astana Opera presented outstanding piece of Kazakh musical art, national opera entitled Abay, composed by Ahmed Zhubanov and Latif Hamidi. The piece is themed on Mukhtar Avezov's libretto. The plot is based on tragic events in Abay Kunambayev's life, who is a Kazakh poet, educator and philosopher. This is the story of romantic and tragic love of two young people, Aidar and Ajar. Abay and his follower Aidar oppose the conservatism of the old world, but their struggle is full of pain and injustice.
So this is my first opera here, so I really didn't know what to expect. And I've never seen a Kazakh opera before either. I've been to a few operas in the past at various theaters, but I'll tell you, this ranks right up there. It's been absolutely beautiful. The singing's been good, the staging has been very elaborate, and we really enjoyed that. And I read just enough about the story before we came to that gives me a chance of actually following what's going on. So I like the story of Ajar and Aidar. I like the story of kind of this intergenerational struggle. Some members of the tribe trying to follow tradition, and then Abay coming and defending kind of the Romeo and Juliet and the change from the past. It's really sweet.
The piece has already become one of the favorite performances of residents and guests of the capital. The opera is staged by Italian director Giancarlo Del Monaco and honored artist of Kazakhstan, Professor Yesmukhan Obayev. Opera's stage setting is designed by the famous stage designer Ezio Frigerio and Oscar winner Franco Squarcipino. The first night of Abay opera was back in 1944 and was appraised by critics as Kazakh musical masterpiece. I have been interested in Abay opera for a long time with a strong intention to come and see it. Abay as a person is a spiritual mentor of Kazakh people, and a lot of his magnificent and wise words can be heard in this opera. This opera vividly reflects Abay's traits glorified by Mukhtar Avezov in his work, representing Abay as an enlightened and genuine patron of the culture of his people. Name of a great poet and writer, Seken Sifulin, is closely connected with Astana, which has been reflected by the founder of Kazakh literature in his famous historical novel entitled Thorny Path. If you drive along the capital street named after Mukhtar Avezov, it is impossible not to pay attention to a beautiful long house, which is a place on one of the busiest streets where Sakentsifulin has worked in the 20s, 30s of the last century. Today, it is his largest museum in Kazakhstan. The house was built in 1846 by merchant Kazantsev, and in 1920 there was an editorial office in which Sakentsifulin worked. By the order of the Council of Ministers of Kazakh SSR, Sakentsifulin Museum was opened on the 21st of January 1988. He was born on the 15th of October 1894 in Saryarka, Zhanarkinsky district, which is now Karagandy region. His real name is Sadvakas, but his mother kindly called him Saken, and since then we know him under that name. In 1995, the museum was visited by President of Kazakhstan Nursultan Nazarbayev. In his visit, he left a note in Sakentzifulin's book entitled Kokshetau with the following words: "Let the spirit of our bright-minded ancestor Sakentsifulin guide our independent country." Today, the museum's funds account for 5,000 items. Writer's belongings are donated by his wife and relatives. The exposition begins with materials reflecting Sakentzifulin's home grounds, with a maquette of his house in Akmoninsk, an Aul school where he has been working as a teacher after graduating from seminary, as well as the first editions of books and documents related to state activity. The museum has a recreated model of Sakentzifulin's bedroom, where the writer's belongings are of great interest. Photographs reflect not only the poet's life, but also the rich life of Akmolinsk in the 20s, 30s of the 20th century. In our museum, we have very valuable items. That is, things he used himself, his own manuscripts, letters, as well as gold watch. The Swiss gold watch engraved with Sakentzifulin's name was presented to him in 1936 on Alexander Pushkin's 100th anniversary in Moscow in token of respect and merit. Personal letters, favorite books, everything in this museum helped to feel connection to great Kazakh writer Sakentsifulin, for these walls still remember his presence. Ballet is not only an atmosphere of joy and fiesta, energy and emotions. It is a hard work at the limit of physical abilities, with a tough rehearsal process and strict discipline. Secrets of the ballet profession are going to be revealed by our guest Danyar Shmanov, who is the laureate of international contests and soloist of Abayan National Opera and Ballet Theatre. My amusing story began in summer holidays. I finished grade 5 in a regular school, and my aunt Maria Ilyasova, who was honored artist of Kazakhstan, and my second aunt wanted me to go to choreographic school, because when they had studied in Moscow, they took a great interest in this art. I had what it took for the ballet because I had gone in for martial arts for a long time, namely Taekwondo. So I had a good flexibility and I was trained well, which was all needed for the ballet. At that time there were about 400 applicants, but only 60 children could be enrolled, and I managed to enter that school. The first 6 months I was in a kind of knockout. My parents, particularly my father, taught me not to walk in my underwear in front of women. But there my teacher was a woman, my accompanist was a woman, well, all teachers were women, and before you could go into the room, you needed to wait in the corridor for 15 minutes, where you stood in rehearsal shorts while many girls were passing by. I felt uncomfortable and dragged my shirt lower and lower. In 2007, Danyar successfully graduated from Seleznov Choreographic School and joined the many ballet team of the country to begin performing solo parts almost immediately. Potential to become a soloist of the theater might be seen at school. You need to be a man of settled character. If you dance well, but you are weak, it is very difficult to be on top. Many misunderstand the idea of solo performance, believing that the soloist is an individual dancer. While before you can become a soloist, you should first dance in a corps de ballet. If you have been dancing in corps de ballet for a while, you start to understand everything, whether musicality or acting. From the first year of my work in the theater, I already alternated dancing. I danced 1 week in the corps de ballet, and the next day I did a minor solo part. I have started with this because performing big solo parts in the age of 18 is very difficult. In 2013, Danyar Shmanov was invited as a soloist in famous New Jersey ballet troupe. American people like shows, so the more you do pirouettes and ballet tricks, the more they admire the performance. And here we have a different situation. Since our ballet school has been developing for a very long time, we turn to be aesthetes of this art. Our ballet is about beautiful arm movements, beautiful eyes and amazing flexibility, because our art is closer to the Russian ballet. An American ballet is all about speed. You may have performances which are just crazy. I danced one where we had 2 pianos playing simultaneously, and we also had the percussions playing on the 2 sides, and it was counter-tempo, that is, one plays slow, the other plays fast. And you cannot hear music, and you just count and dance while counting. Before you go on stage, your level of adrenaline is stratospheric. At the age of 20, I danced the part of Spartacus. Me and my teacher rehearsed for 2 months without a break. The piece had a scene of rebellion, when the main character raised his slaves to revolt, and the scene with Adagio, that is with a lover. So it was approximately 15-17 minutes of dancing without any break. And when we went backstage after the first act, I was in kind of knockdown, because I had swallowed a lot of oxygen, but I could not exhale it completely. I literally had the air stuck inside of me, so I could barely breathe. My colleagues who worked with me almost started to do artificial respiration to help me. It proves that even if you are 100% ready, your emotions plus acting add another 50% to it, and you work all 150% on stage, which is sometimes very hard. Our profession is not for everyone. If you are ready to devote maximum you have to this profession, you will get maximum of it. As for me, ballet is probably my guardian angel. If you get a chance to go on a big stage and dance some part in the corps de ballet or any solo part, you will not be able to leave the stage anymore, because the audience is like a drug, and the greatest gratitude in your life is applause of the audience.